Welcome back to the weird and the wonderful with Strange Bones. That's me. I must admit, I don't think anybody is going to turn up for this live. I think everybody is out having a fat party and doing all of the good things that one does on such a night. But just in case, we're going to do a small one anyway with a few interesting things all about New Year's. So I hope you have a good cup of coffee. I have got a cat who is demanding attention and is deserving of none of it. But nevertheless, we have the cat. So we shall see how we do and what we do. And hopefully it is all good. But yes, here is Tat. Hello, Cat. Say hello to everybody. So, and Yvonne, welcome. I'm surprised to get anybody join in on this fine and fabulous evening, but welcome nevertheless. And much thanks for the likes. So, New Year. This is, after all, the channel for the weird and the wonderful. So what's weird and wonderful about New Year? And it seems that before we begin, I did make a promise I would give an answer to a question. We've been doing a thing on monster hunting. And somebody asked what coins were for. And I got a couple of answers that may or may not give that answer. So before we begin the New Year's live, I'm going to give you a little bit of an answer to that. So in folklore and mythology, specific monsters interact with coins or money in various ways. So the Shurale in Kazakh and Russian mythology is a woolly horned forest monster with backward-wearing shoes that apparently tickles people to death. What exactly that is and how it works is not something I fully understand, but apparently the 50 tenge coin from Kazakhstan once featured the Shurali to help children recognize it and thus avoid it. So there's a weird one just for you. Gorgons are not affected by coins as such, but the image of a Gorgon head, a gorgonion, was considered a powerful protective symbol on items like the Athena's aegis, and used to instill fear in enemies, and so it was featured on a coin for good luck. There you go. In general folklore, many legends involve spirits and mystical creatures that have specific interactions with coins and things, or of a specific material. So, the first and most important bit, of course, is that coins in the past, not anymore, alas, that would be nice, but in the past, many coins were made of silver. And silver was considered to be a potent weakness for vampires and werewolves, as well as any other moon-related creatures, of which there are quite a lot. So, of course, silver coins mattered because a silver coin could be used to silver a weapon or create a weapon of silver. Now, there was one very interesting story that I encountered, which I thought was pretty cool. In one of the legends of vampires, the original vampire, according to only one legend, and mostly one that came from specific regions, the original vampire was Judas Iscariot. And he was, of course, as we know, paid 30 silver pieces to betray Jesus. And so these specific 30 silver denarii are potent against evil in general, and especially against vampires because of that divine curse. So there you go, that's how coins fit into the whole story. I hope you enjoyed it. But tonight, we are talking all about New Year's. And of course, this being the weird and the wonderful, we are interested in those things which are weird or strange, and with any luck, suitably creepy. Huge thanks there to Yahweh's Son for the follow, and much thanks, of course, to Ion de Yevon, or Londelevon, I'm not sure, for those likes. I appreciate it greatly. Remember that this channel runs by your promotion, and like, comment, share, subscribe, and do all of the good things to keep it going. So, yes, creepy tales. Let me pull up my latest creepy tales for New Year and strange things people do. We drop that in there. Drop you in. It does not want to. Nope, the cat's abandoned me. And now it doesn't want to pull up my notes. I know why. We have fixed it, I think. There we go. So, creepy New Year's stories to add to our going into the new... Hey, Jacob. Welcome. Into the new year. So the first is washing for the dead. So it's very important, apparently. This is a legend, or superstition, if you will. You should never do laundry on January the 1st, because, according to the legend, you are washing clothes for somebody who will die, bringing them terrible bad luck. Yeah, so good excuse not to do any laundry and to stay in bed on New Year's. I like the thinking. Then you have the story of Fair Charlotte, a New England legend about a very vain girl who went to a New Year's ball. Now, you see these in urban legends all the time, but she wanted to look pretty and refused to wear warm clothing, even though it was freezing cold, and froze to death for her vanity. Always a good one. Folklore says that a northeast wind on New Year's Eve signals disaster, whereas other winds will tell you if you're getting a good or bad harvest. So watch what wind you get. One which is a particularly cool one is the story of the lady in white at New Year's parties. So when you go to your party and you're doing whatever you're doing, check out the guests for a lady in white, because apparently it is an uninvited ghost that will turn up. And if you see them, make sure you do not talk to them. You must take no notice whatsoever, because if you attract her attention or take notice, she will bring wrath and horror. So you have to pretend she doesn't exist, which is pretty cool. Of course, we know that connected to the whole Christmas and New Year thing is Krampus. Apparently he goes through the whole of December, though he doesn't bring presents for the good kids, he brings punishment for the bad, whipping them and stuffing them in his sacks to take them away if they've been particularly bad. Happens from the 5th of December onwards until New Year's, apparently. So from St. Nicholas Eve. And as we know, in the Swiss, you have the dance of Krampus through the streets. Huge thanks to Endless Thoughts. Happy New Year to you too. I really didn't think anyone was going to join in, and everybody has. We've already reached our live goal thanks to Endless Thoughts, and all the hearts from all of you kind peoples as well. Thank you so much. Yes, Happy New Year's to you all. I hope it is a very blessed one and will bring you all the good things, despite the horrific stories I shall be telling you, because why not? This is weird and wonderful after all. The other suitably awful one is Frau Perchta, an Austrian folklore of a witch who slits the bellies of wicked with her long nails and fills them with straw, and she turns up at around this time of year, so do be careful of that. The other interesting thing is from Bali. These are rituals and ghosts. So you have the Ogo Ogo from Bali, which are giant monstrous effigies that are paraded during Nyepi, the Balinese New Year, to exorcise evil spirits, creating a very terrifying and noisy spectacle. But apparently it's a great deal of fun and involves, as you can imagine, all of the good things to bring in the new year, which are liquid and fun. Huge thanks for the heart me. That is so cool. The other interesting thing is if you go to the Drake Hotel, where is the Drake Hotel? I'm not sure, but a woman jumped to her death on New Year's Eve in 1920, and her spirit replays her final moments on New Year's Eve. So if you're ever at the Drake Hotel, wherever that might be, you will see her do exactly that. But we have more. More, I tell you. In the heart of Scotland, you have the strange tradition of first footing. Now, this is not just Scottish, it's Northern English. So Scottish, Northern English, and Manx. And for those of you who don't know what the Manx are from the Isle of Man. And they are Celtic. They are not like the South England at all. This custom dictates that the first person to enter a home after the stroke of midnight on New Year's Day will bring either good fortune or misfortune to the year ahead. So, the ideal first footer is a tall, dark-haired man believed to bring the best luck. There's all kinds of symbolism and expectation, so you have to pick the right person to walk into your house on New Year's. The origins of this story are kind of weird and mysterious. Some trace it back to the Viking invasions of the British Isles. A stranger's arrival, especially a dark-haired one, once stirred fear in remembrance of the Viking raids, and it's evolved, they say. But they don't really know. And even more kindness is there. That is wondrous. Thank you, Endless Thoughts. I appreciate that massively. In Scotland, the praxis varies from place to place, but it's known that the first footer must bring gifts, symbolic gifts, including coal, coins, whiskey, and black buns. They're not just tokens of goodwill, but are emblems of warmth, prosperity, and celebration. And in return, the first footer is greeted with food and drink, making a communal start to the new year. Interestingly, the tradition of first footing is not exclusive to Scotland. Greek, Vietnamese, and Georgian New Year traditions have the same kind of practice, each with its own unique cultural spin. But in Scotland, it's woven in with the Hogmanay celebrations, and it mirrors the nation's diverse cultural fabric and its allure for the mystical and the unknown, which is pretty damn cool. Well, along with that, we shall just drop a comment because we need to comment in the thingies. Yoya no Kane, the Japanese bell of forgetfulness. So, as the New Year approaches in Japan, a profound and resonant tradition takes place, the Yoya no Kane. This comes from Japanese Buddhist custom and is observed on New Year's Eve as part of the Omesoka celebrations. The heart of this tradition lies in striking the temple bell 108 times at midnight. It's observed in places like South Korea as well, and at Japanese Buddhist temples worldwide, and is for purification of the soul. The origin of the Yoya no Kane can be traced back to Zen Buddhist customs from the Song dynasty in China, adopted by Japanese Zen temples during the Kamakura period. The ritual of ringing the bell 108 times is from Buddhist philosophy, as it believes that there are 108 sins a person may have, derived from the 6 senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, body, and mind, each with pleasant, unpleasant, and neural variations, divided into pure and impure categories. These variations, multiplied by the 3 aspects of time, past, present, and future, give you 108 sins. Now, ringing the bell 108 times signifies the purging of these sins, cleansing the soul for the year ahead. Some temples, especially those welcoming lay people, might ring beyond 108 times, or in multiples, reaching upwards of 200 or more. And this ritual then gained immense traction in Japan during the Showa period, notably through radio broadcasts, which is quite interesting. It goes beyond religious observation and embodies the cultural reverence for tradition, marking a reflective embrace to the new year. Echoing bells in the cold night beckoned introspection, providing a tranquil pause for spiritual cleansing amidst the revelries, which is quite sweet. I do like that. So I hope all of you, and most especially you, my dear friend Endless Thoughts, that you absolutely do have the most amazing new year, and you find spiritual peace to begin your new year as well. And huge thanks for helping us reach our live goal twice in one live. Good Lord, that's amazing. I hope you did go and see my little post I did earlier about how the year went, because as it turns out, one of my best people in 2 of the 3 categories for the year was you, and I thank you for it. Now, the next suitably weird and wonderful thing to talk about is Mari Lord, or as some would call it, Chefare Lord. And this comes from Wales, a wassailing folk custom deeply rooted in Welsh culture, involving a particularly evil figure, a hobby horse made from a real horse's skull on a pole, shrouded in a white sheet and carried by an individual concealed beneath sackcloth. The Mari Llwyd is a striking ghostly presence. First recorded in the 1800s, Mari Llwyd was traditionally performed around Christmas and New Year. Groups of men, often including characters like Punch and Judy, would accompany the Mari Llwyd from house to house, engaging in a unique form of musical battle known as ponco. They would request entry through song, and the householders had to respond in song, denying them entry. This exchange of verses would continue until either the householders relented or they proved that they were better than the group. And if the group won, they would get inside and eat all the food and drink all the drink. Why Mari Llwyd? The origin of it might mean grey mare, but we're not really sure, to be honest. It's an odd thing in itself. It's very captivating with the skull, and people get clever making the jaw open and close through strings and levers, often adorned with ribbons and sometimes with glass or even lights in the eye sockets to make it suitably terrifying. But nevertheless, the custom went around all over in Wales, and the idea was that it created both fear and amusement. The Mari Llwyd would create chaos, while those accompanying it would create revelry. It's one of those strange things that I think you really have to be Welsh to truly appreciate. Now, the next one is just a strange one, and it's from Spain, and it's known as the 12 Grapes of Luck. And as midnight on December 31st approaches, you have to eat a grape with each chime of the clock at midnight, symbolizing the New Year's welcome. Each grape signifies a month, and for each grape eaten, you will get good luck and prosperity for that month. So you have to shovel down all of these grapes with every bong of the clock, and then it will bring you a whole year of good luck and prosperity. It dates back to 1895 and became widespread in 1909. Alicante's vine growers popularized the custom as a means to sell an excess of grapes from a bountiful harvest, and the tradition stuck and people liked it. And it's become a staple of the Spanish New Year's celebrations. And it's pretty festival. Yeah. Going to Romania, you have the bear dance, a captivating and colourful tradition for the new year, where the folklore and heritage have evolved into an interesting winter performance. It's symbolic ritual embodying the cycles of time, signifying both death and rebirth, believed to purify and enrich the soil for the coming year. So it's more than just a dance. And good Lord, endless thoughts, you are so kind. Reaching 3 times the goal in a single live. This is definitely going to be an amazing new year, thanks to you. So the performers are all dressed in bear skins, accompanied by musicians, and they parade through the streets going from house to house. Now, for those of you who are sensitive to such things, sorry, but that's life. They are made from genuine bear skins. The heavy bear costume intensifies the dancer's challenge and spectacle, and in Romanian mythology, the bear holds both a revered status as a potent totemic creature, bringing safeguard and healing. The dance invokes the bear's spirit, aiming to repel malevolent forces and beckon good fortune, well-being and abundant harvest. It's often accompanied by other characters, including a bear tamer, musicians and other figures from local folklore. The bear tamer leads the bear, symbolizing the control of the wild forces of nature. The music is typically very lively and rhythmic, which adds to the whole festive atmosphere. The bear dance showcases Romania's cultural heritage and deep ties to nature. It is a remarkable blend of past, present, and a ritual that brings communities together in celebration and hope for the new year. It's a testament to the power of cultural traditions in shaping and enriching the lives of people. And I think that's absolutely amazing. The fourth, good grief, you're such a darling. Thank you so much. You really do spoil me, and I appreciate it greatly. Now, the next one is one that is very much in my heart, and that is in Talca in Chile, the Night of the Tombstones. So in a small town of Talca in the Maule region in Chile, there is a unique New Year's Eve tradition, and as midnight approaches, the locals engage in a practice that probably will be weird. They spend the night in the graveyard, keeping vigil among the tombs. The tradition is deeply rooted in the local culture, and it's a way for people to welcome the new year in the company of their deceased loved ones. Participants bring candles, flowers, and have picnics besides the grave of their family members and friends. And the atmosphere, contrary to what might expect, is not morose or somber, but it is a time for reflection, celebration, and remembrance. It's a beautiful particular thing. And I am asked questions by people on WhatsApp, as you can well imagine. So it gives you a unique view of death and afterlife, whereby those gone are not gone, and there is an enduring connection between the living and the dead, and memory and love can conquer everything. I think that is a truly beautiful idea. I think it's amazing, and I really do appreciate it. But let's look at some of the darker things, because after all, we're the weird and wonderful with strange bones. So let's look at the strange. Everything has meaning, even when we don't realize it. The countdown to midnight, our constant desire to control time, and yet our failure of it. The fireworks, loud noises and light to ward off evil spirits and bad luck. That midnight kiss, a kiss at midnight, is believed to bring luck, love, and continuity into the new year. The resolutions are not so much about bringing forth a new you as you thought they were. They are vows to the gods. Remember that, because they listen. So, what do we have? In Japan, we ring the bells, the Yoya no Kane. Purge yourself and be pure. Scotland gave us the first footing and, of course, Auld Lang Syne, which is even sung in this country. Ecuador, they build effigies called the Ano Viejo, the Old Year, which they burn at midnight to destroy regrets, misfortune and negativity and send the old year on its way. But sometimes the effigies represent disliked people, giving it a slightly darker tone. Some things are possibly better not thought too deeply about. As we know, in Britain, all over, before the Romans so-called civilized it, they would build wicker men and fill them with their enemies and set them alight for the new year. A dark, an interesting thing. China has the myth of the Nian. The Nian beast emerged annually to attack people and livestock. Somehow it was found out that the beast was afraid of loud noise and the color red. So firecrackers, red lanterns, red robes, such as those found in many lion dance portrayals, come from this very thing, beating on drums or even empty bowls and throwing firecrackers to chase the Nian away. Maybe. There are many, many traditions, good and bad, and I don't know, is there anything specific you guys do? I think that is quite an interesting thing nevertheless. We know that we have grapes in Spain. Well, in the US, you're supposed to eat black-eyed peas, greens, and cornbread to bring you wealth, believe it or not. In Italy and Brazil, you must eat lentils to bring you money. In the Netherlands and Germany, oliebollen, which are basically Dutch fritters, and sauerkraut will bring you good fortune if you eat it, and possibly wind. Hee ha ha hoo hoo. In the Philippines, you have to eat round foods to bring prosperity. And in Japan, soba noodles for a long life. So hopefully you have all of those to bring you good luck, wealth, and happiness, and a long life. In Brazil and Latin America, you must wear white clothing for peace, yellow clothing for money, and red if you want love. And in the Philippines, you must wear polka dots for money, which is quite interesting. In Denmark, you must jump off chairs and break plates for good luck. In Colombia and Ecuador, you must walk with an empty suitcase if you want to travel in the new year. In Greece, you hang an onion on your door. All right, an onion. Apparently, it will bring you rebirth. In Chile and Puerto Rico, you must throw water out the door to cleanse out the old year's used up and bad luck, or sweep out. We know Scotland has got the first footing, Japan has got the ringing of the bells, but in Germany, a rather fun one, you have to watch a comedy show. Why? I don't know. Yes. I do believe that is something which we won't hear by me because a lot of people have a huge number of pets. And so basically in the entire area, almost by unspoken agreement, fireworks don't happen. Despite the fact that it is absolutely a tradition where I am in the past, this area doesn't get them. And I'm sure all of the kitties and puppies are very grateful for that. But I must admit I'm a bit of a firebug myself, so I do rather enjoy them, even though they are not allowed here, rather sadly. But nevertheless, I'm sure it's going to be awesome. I have a very nice whiskey, which, as you probably well know, I don't drink at all. But, well, it's New Year's, and I didn't at Christmas. So perhaps. But we know that globally, they are absolutely a big thing, and big displays are very, very important. So, yeah. And yes, there will absolutely be some done by people when they shouldn't. You are quite correct in the thoughts. I do agree. Interestingly, in Australia and Qatar, you have to bang pots and pans to scare away the spirits. Now, as we know, US, UK, and South Africa, people sing Auld Lang Syne, and I do actually wonder what on earth it all really means, and I shall pull it up for you and speak on it in a bit. Apparently in Switzerland you have to drop whipped cream on the floor for richness, and in Mexico you have to eat tamales with menudo soup. I'm good with that. I like tamales. So yeah, I'm very, very good with that. But Auld Lang Syne, what does it mean? Well, Auld Lang Syne literally means times long past. So the Scots came up with it from a saying, which was, how about a drink for Auld Lang Syne before we start our argument? We know very well that they are known for their arguey behavior, which is quite interesting. So, mid-17th century, the phrase was popularized as the title and refrain of the song by none other than Robbie Burns in 1788. I've always enjoyed his poetry. Wee timorous cowering beastie, all about a mouse, which is pretty cool. So, Auld Lang Syne is, in essence, the idea of saying goodbye to 1 year so a new one can begin. Now, what are the lyrics? Well, we know that people usually sing it when well and truly drunk. We know that the melody has been used even by people as far back as Beethoven, so predates even him, which is pretty cool. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind, should old acquaintance be forgot and Auld Lang Syne? For Auld Lang Syne, my friend, for Auld Lang Syne, we take a cup of kindness yet for Auld Lang Syne, and surely you'll be your pint stoop, whatever that might be, and surely I'll be mine, we'll ask a cup of kindness yet for Auld Lang Syne. We too have run about the braes and pound the gowans fine, and we've wandered many a weary fit, sing Auld Lang Syne. We too have panelled in the burn from morning till the dine, but seas between us braid her road, singing Auld Lang Syne. And here's a hand, my trusty fear, and geese a hand o' thine, and we'll take a right good willy wrought for Auld Lang Syne. So in plain English, it is a reflective song about two friends catching up over a drink or two, their friendship having been long and on occasion distant. Yes, here too as well, and it's never given, and nobody bothers to ask anymore. I think partly as well because I've been in one or two places where the people doing the setting off certainly shouldn't be and have been permitted to handle even a matchstick, given the drunken behaviour. And I saw more than one injury occur in my times. So it's certainly a difficult thing in that regard. So it's a very, very old song, Auld Lang Syne. Yes, absolutely that as well. And a police presence and a medic presence is required these days. So ambulance and car, yep, absolutely. Here too, here too. So no surprise at all. So Auld Lang Syne is goodbye to the old and welcome to the new, but never forget your good friends, because it really does matter. So Auld Lang Syne, as we said, is days gone by, for old time's sake, remembrance, and share a toast to friends with you and those not. Should old friends be forgotten and never remembered, for old time's sake? We too who have run about the hills and picked flowers and paddled in streams from morning till dinner time, wide seas may have separated us since long ago, but here's a hand, my friend, and give me a hand of yours, and we'll have a drink together for old time's sake. Yes, the fire chief as well, you're quite correct. And we have got number 4's live. Good Lord. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So I am truly impressed with your great kindness. But what about you? What traditions do you do? Do you have any specifically cultural New Year's Eve things that you follow? I can't think of any that I do except drink and wait for it to pass and then send frantic WhatsApps to everybody to say Happy New Year. I send mine early because I'm lazy and usually go to bed before it. Apparently sleeping through it is bad though. I don't know. But we'll be doing our lives, so maybe we will still be up. I don't know. I'm going to end the live slightly early, however, because my darling sweet is watching TV and awaiting, and I absolutely do intend to kiss her at midnight, because that strikes me as the right way to start the year. But an amazing thing and a wonderful thing. Now, of course, for those who want to know the old way, we do have a number of pagan traditions with deep New Year's significance. It is a time for Yule logs, mistletoe, divination, light and prosperity rituals, and more. So Yule is the winter solstice, and many pagans see this as the new year, celebrating the rebirth of the sun, and longer days with feasting, bonfires, and rituals to welcome the returning light. But I do remind you that the word bonfire originally was bonefire. Oh, absolutely. Because then it's not you doing it and you can get away with watching it. I think that's a fantastic idea. And I shall spare you a thought and raise a glass to your name at that time. So absolutely, absolutely. So bonfires are bonfires, where bones were burned. The burning of sacrifice. And of course, the proper way to do it was with the King of Yule, who was at the beginning of December made king. He could do what he wanted, take what he wanted, sleep with any lady he wanted, would be given all the food and drink he wanted, right up until the 31st, whereupon he was put on the fire. So, wonderful for a month, and then slightly less wonderful after all. We also had a Roman influence to New Year. January the 1st was, of course, named after the god Janus, the god of beginnings and endings, the two-faced god. And it was for the Roman New Year, the calends, which we get the word calendar from. And it incorporated customs like evergreen decorations and feasting, which have absolutely affected modern celebrations. It was a time of ancestral and spirit work, honouring the ancestors, setting up places for them, performing cleansings, and more. It is a time of divination and intention setting, using tarot, runes, and more, writing down goals, getting future insight, and creating talismans for the new year. It is a time of purification and fire, smoke cleansing, bone fires, Yule logs, and fireworks to symbolize the burning away of the old and bringing in new energy. It is connected to nature and its cycles, observing the sunrise, making natural altars, and doing all of those things to recognize the cyclical nature of life. Scottish hogmanay is a good example. Solstice vigils are common. And of course, invocation to the deities, such as calling on the gods of light and renewal, Apollo and Bride, or time, Janus. So, all kinds of interesting old things. And along with that, we have another set of interesting bits and pieces to talk about. Back in the day, and I have an itch that I just cannot reach, and it's going to drive me up the pole. There we go. So back in the day, about 2000 BC, New Year's Eve was brought in by the Akitu festival. A high priest would strip the king of all of his royal regalia, drag him by the ears in front of a statue of the god Marduk, and then slap him. The goal was to make the king cry. If tears were shed, it signified that Marduk was pleased and had extended the king's rule for a whole new year. So every year the king would get slapped. That's funny. Demon visits in Japan. Ogana Namahage festival. On New Year's Eve, men in costume as Namahage, a terrifying demon-like ogre figure, go door to door in the Oga region. They scold lazy people and scare children into obeying their parents. Through intimidation, the demons are welcomed by parents as honored guests who bring luck, protection from illness, and a good harvest, once appeased with moki and sake. We've spoken of the graveyard vigils in Chile and the burning of effigies in Ecuador, but we have an interesting one which we share with Italy. South Africa and Italy, particularly Naples and Johannesburg, have a tradition where you throw old furniture or household items out of windows for a fresh start to the year. Modern practices in Italy involve small soft items, but if you have ever been in certain parts of Joburg, I have seen entire washing machines and stoves being flung out the window, and if it hits you, it's tough luck on you. And it can get really, really, really chaotic. So yeah, just saying. They don't do small soft items in Joburg, maybe Naples, but not in South Africa. In Switzerland, you have the Old Year donkey beating. In Schwarzburg, a local person dresses as a donkey, the Old Year donkey, and is symbolically beaten and driven out of town by villagers. This acts literally as the scapegoat ritual to purge evil spirits of the old year and welcome the new one in. Now, of course, the word scapegoat comes from the Jews, because that's literally what they would do if there was a sin that was deemed communal. The sins would be heaped upon a goat, which was then beaten out of town and into the desert to die, thus taking their sins with it. And that's where we get the word scapegoat, because the goat would take the sins of the people. So yeah, it's something that has caught on and carried on, believe it or not. So those are the things, and I absolutely do hope you have appreciated and enjoyed them. I know it's been a slightly shorter one in that regard, but then it is New Year's, and yes, there is every intention to party. So Endless Thoughts, my dear, I thank you massively for joining me when nobody else did. I hope that you have the most blessed New Year, and will start it with every joy, every luck, and every pleasure that you could possibly want. May your life be made better in the new year. And yeah, I shall see you tomorrow. Have a wondrous one, a fantastic one. Thank you so much for the kind gift of 4 live goals and all of those wonderful hearts. And God bless you. I shall see you in the new year.